Hello, hi, I'm making a video today which I'm like low-key embarrassed to be making. It is a haul, as you can see by the title, you know what it is. I have too many books that aren't mine. I love lending people my books. I really enjoy passing along a book. I don't like reading a book once and it just sitting stagnant like on a shelf and like that's it. Like, books are meant to be read, you know? Like, don't care if it's an unpopular opinion. Like, if you're hoarding your books up and you're not reading them and you've read them once and that's it and you refuse to lend them to anyone else, like, what are you doing? I'm just saying. Anyway, so sorry for the shade. Sorry, not sorry about what I said. I'm just trying to have some fun. I love lending my books out. That's the crux of this. But I also love receiving books from other people, and I love getting books from others that have lent me books. They really want me to read it, or I'm like, ooh, I'd love to borrow this, can I borrow it? It's showing the love, isn't it? I love it a lot, except when it gets like slightly too many books. This is the stack of books. There are 12 books that aren't mine, that I have, that I haven't read yet. Actually, there's one in here that I have read. I've just finished it, but I've included it in this list anyway because I'm yet to give it back. This is too many books to have on my shelf, on my actual TBR, that I need to get through that aren't mine. So I thought I'd show you around. I thought I'd show you what they are, who gave them to me, why I've got it, why I want to read it. I'm not going to say why I haven't got to it yet because there's no excuse. Right, I've organised the stack by people that gave them to me, / people I've borrowed them from. There's like a significant amount from a few friends, and then there's like some dotted other friends. One of them I'm saving till the last because I have had it for such a significantly long time. I don't know if the person that I borrowed it from knows if I still have it. I'm really embarrassed about it. I still haven't read it. I feel like I need to get to it and give it back to her as soon as possible, but you have to wait for that one. Okay, I'm just gonna crack on with it. I've got my mug, my classy bitch mug, because I'm a classy bitch and I don't return my books. What's a girl to do? This is the least Hufflepuff behaviour ever. I'm so mad at myself. So the first stack I have, I'll show you and then I'll run through each book individually, is...
Hello, it's Editing Jazz here. Can we just take a moment to watch that one more time?
Individually is...
Oh my god.
What the fuck? Oh my god. These aren't my books. I try to be careful with books that aren't mine because, you know, people like to treat their books differently. So, Amy, I'm really sorry that I just threw all of your books on the floor. Oh my god, I'm a mess. Okay, these 4 books are from my friend Amy, from Amy Buckle's bookshelf. I always borrow Amy's books. Amy always borrows my books. This is a significant amount though. I don't usually have 4 of her books. I'm also like low-key worried that there are more that I've just forgotten about. So if anyone is watching and is like, Jazz, I've lent you my book and you haven't mentioned it in this video, you need to remind me. But here are the 4 that I've got from Amy. I will run through them now. Okay, so the first book I've got from Amy is Let Me Find You by Julie Valima. Julie Valima is a self-published author, I believe. And the concept is kind of cool, which is why I wanted to borrow it. It's about this man who finds out he has a gift for empathy. He can like feel other people's pain and like heartbreak and all these different things. Like he's kind of in touch with other people's emotions, and it's set in Finland, and he basically takes it upon himself, or it's his job, I'm not quite sure, to go around finding like lost, desperate souls and giving them like a last piece of like light, like hope. I guess that like description, there must be like magical realism, maybe. I am guessing, but like the concept sounds kind of cool. I really also love supporting self-published authors, and Amy highly recommended this one when she did read it in like 2017, I think, when she read it. I don't know. Also will fit in with my challenge that I set up, which if you don't know is called the Not UK YA Challenge, where I've challenged myself and others to read books that aren't set in the UK or the USA. I'll leave a link below to my blog post where I don't think I've talked about this on my channel. Maybe I should make a whole video about this. If you'd like to know more about the challenge, let me know. But there's a blog post below which kind of details the whole thing. And at the bottom of the blog post, there's a master list of books of all the continents and countries within that continent, and then books that are set there. So have a explore if you'd like to find something that's not set in the UK, rude, or USA. All right, moving swiftly onwards to to the second book, which is Removed Without Warning by Aaron Kane Heinemann. Soz if I'm saying that wrong. Aaron is a really cool self-published author. He wrote Gods and Conquerors, which I'll put here because I don't have it, but I read Amy's copy of it. That was how I found out about him as an author, and he's really cool. He's also really supportive of bloggers and stuff. He's just a cool man. So his first book, Gods and Conquerors, was a novel. This is a short story collection, and Amy has like highly recommended it. His first book I really enjoyed. I'm like throwing this all around the place. It's a cool cover, I really like it actually. I'll read you the back cover because I don't like short stories. I'm not gonna like the themes I feel like are more important. Wild animals in your driveway, bricks through your windows, emotions in bottles, and demons in your toys. Ooh, sounds kind of like creepy, spooky, not like spooky, but like kind of just like eerie. Maybe this will be a good one to kind of read around Halloween, like kind of like eerie vibes I'm getting. Yeah, I'm excited to read this one. The next book I have from Amy is Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Edo Lodge. This is a book I have been meaning to read for like years. Like it's been on my TBR for so long and I've just never got a copy. I was originally thinking I might want to listen to the audiobooks. I think that would be a really good way to consume this book. I feel like non-fiction is really good in audiobooks. But Amy bought it and I was like, oh, can I borrow it? Can I borrow it when you finished? Thanks so much. So that is what I did. I borrowed it a while ago. Still haven't read it, fuck's sake. But I'm going to get to it soon because this is one that's like high up priorities. Really want to read. I think it's very important that like white people read and take this book in, learn about Black history in the UK. I feel like Black history in the UK is very much not talked about. Really want to try and read outside of my existence because so much will go on that because of my privilege I just don't really see, and I'm trying to be as aware as possible, but I think this book is very important for people to read. The last book I've got from Amy is this chonky boy. It is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I've actually just finished this. I mean, it took me a while. It took me over a month, I think, but that is the hard themes. I won't spoil it too much. Maybe I'll do like an in-depth review. I'm not sure yet. It broke me though. It's a weird one. This is Amy's like favourite book. It like she read it and it sailed like straight into her top favourites, recommending it to everyone sort of, you know, tier, god tier. And I was like, okay, I will read it. And I really enjoyed it. I mean, if you can enjoy it, I did enjoy it. Although it's like harrowing as fuck. But I did enjoy it. However, the first like 200 pages, I just was so bored. And I could have put it down and not continued. And then the rest of it, I was like gripped and like attached to the characters. I finished this like a week ago, maybe like a little bit less. I can't stop thinking about it. I've never quite read a book where I've changed my opinion from the beginning to the end so much. I'm gonna give it back to Amy when I see her on Monday because I've just finished it. But yikes. Yikes. That is all I can say. I would recommend you read this book. I didn't say what it was about. It's about these 4 men who live in New York and it's about their friendship. It's primarily about a man called Jude who had like quite a harrowing childhood, and it's kind of about finding out what happened, and it's about pain and friendship and abuse and love and fame and relationships. Did I say that already? And like being queer and gay or like questioning your identity. And it's literally about, and like art, architecture. It's about everything. If you can like think of a theme, like I'm pretty sure A Little Life covers it. Yeah. Okay, so the next collection is from my friend Alice, who I work with. We constantly lend each other books. She's got a few books from me at the moment, and I have 4 from her. That's quite a lot. I don't know how it happened again. Why do I keep borrowing so many books from people and not reading them? So I'll run you through what Alice has lent me. The first one is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. We were talking about The Picture of Dorian Gray at work because Alice was reading it, and I was like, oh, I've never read that, and she kindly brought it in for me, which was delightful of her. Thanks, Alice. But then I was looking at my bookshelf, and where is it? So I've never read it, but Ben has read it and he has this kind of creepy cover. So we actually already have it in the house. So I actually didn't need to borrow it. But I've got it now. So I don't know whether to give it back or just read this one. I think I might read this one. I kind of like the cover more. Yeah, so that was funny. But anyway, I don't usually read classics. I don't like lean towards them because I honestly just find them a bit of a chore. And I know that some classics aren't a chore. Some classics can be like super engaging. However, the ones I've read haven't been overly engaging. There's been like a few where I have like really enjoyed it. I don't really see it as like escaping into a book and really enjoying it. It feels more like I'm gonna read this book because everyone always talks about this book and like, am I actually gonna enjoy it? You know, like, and that's just not how I like to read. So I just don't tend to read classics. But when there's classics that come about that I'm like, oh, that sounds really interesting, for sure, I'll give it a go. I'm just not one. I used to be, but I'm now just really not one for reading books, so I can tick them off and be like, oh yeah, I've read that. Couldn't care less. So anyway, The Picture of Dorian Gray does pique my interest. It is about a man called Dorian Gray, and he like makes a deal with the devil or something, and in turn he like doesn't age, but there's like a picture of Dorian Gray. Can you imagine? That picture, like that painting, which I think is like in his house, in his attic or something, that ages and it shows like the effects of his life as he lives and doesn't age or something. Sounds kind of cool, kind of enjoy that concept. Everyone that's read this has told me that it's like actually a really enjoyable read, it's really interesting. It's not the kind of one where you have to like slug through, which is like, I'm not slogging through things. So yeah, I'm excited to dive into that one. The next book I have from Alice is The Vegetarian by Han Kang. This piqued my interest when I saw it as I was compiling my Not UK YA list because it is set in South Korea. And so I added it to the list and I was like, ooh, I'm intrigued to read that one. I actually added it on the Asia bingo board, which you can see right here. So I was kind of desperate is dramatic. I was eager to get my hands on a copy. So I was talking about The Vegetarian in the office and Alice was lovingly, she was like, oh, I've got a copy of that. I've read that. I'll bring it in for you. What a babe. Yeah, I haven't read it yet. It's about a woman in South Korea who turns into a vegetarian. She doesn't turn into a vegetarian. She decides to become a vegetarian. Alice, as she described it to me, said it's not really about vegetarianism. Like there's elements and it is about that, but it's also very much about like autonomy and like how men treat women's bodies and how they feel they have a say in what women put into their bodies, that kind of thing. And it's also brutal and very much like, it's quite a hard book. She said, don't read it if you're not having a good day. So it's not like a light-hearted read. So I am excited when I'm feeling good and ready to give this a go to read it. The next book I have from Alice is one that I have been, again, meaning to read for a really long time, and I was very excited to hear that she had it. This is There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. If you know me, you know that I love Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. It's one of my childhood faves. Childhood is, again, dramatic. My childhood, pre-teen loves, that's what I'm trying to say. And when she announced, when was this published? 2017. When she announced that she was writing like a horror thriller type book, I was super intrigued. Yeah, lo and behold, I never bought it and I never read it. But Alice had it and she's lent it to me. I'm excited. I'm gonna definitely read this one for Halloween because it's one that I've been meaning to read and I just like really want to read it. It's about a woman, a girl, a teenager. Do I know what any of these books are about? It's questionable. She basically moves from Hawaii to Nebraska. Yeah. And she thinks she's left her dark past behind her. There's some like stuff going on there. However, one by one, students at her high school slowly begin to be killed in gruesome murders. That sounds intriguing. Why are they dying? Also, you can only imagine there's someone inside her house. And I want to know who it is and what they're doing. I don't know, I'm so sorry. I want to read this book. The last book I've got is a really tall boy. It is Hangman by Jack Heath. And I hadn't heard of this one, but Alice actually went to school with the author Jack Heath, which is kind of cool. So she lent it to me and said it's very good. So I trust her. So this one is about a 14-year-old who disappears on his way home from school, and his mom is like obviously super freaked out. The police don't have any leads, and they call in like a detective or someone it's like the FBI's last resort, who is Timothy Blake, and he is our main man. And he's like a genius, and he's known for like being able to solve loads of like impossible cases in the FBI. He's also a dangerous criminal, which is obviously where the like nice twist comes in. It says on the back here, Timothy Blake has a secret, one so dark he will do anything to keep it hidden. So what's he done, and how's it going to tie in with the kidnapping, and like will they get found? It's like I'm hoping it's going to be really fast paced. I am really excited to get to this. Also, again, a kind of like Halloween-y one, because I don't really read horror, but I feel like thriller and kind of like eerie comes into the theme of Halloween, and like I think I just might read a few more spooky kind of like thrillery ones around Halloween instead of like just horror.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be taking part in Spookathon, which I didn't know was a thing when I recorded this video, but I'll put some links below. Spookathon. It's all about reading thrillers at Halloween. I just didn't know it. Okay, bye.
That concludes Alice's stack of books that she's lent me. Then I've now got I've got 4 left from 4 other people that have lent me books, and let's go. The first one is The Pieces of You and Me by Rachel Burton. This has been lent to me by my manager. He received it and he lent it to me as he thought I might enjoy it. It's kind of my cup of tea, kind of like, it's not something I'd usually pick up, but you know, it's kind of like a very like heavy romance story. These people, they got together, they parted ways, 10 years later, chance encounter, what will happen? I'm not gonna lie, this isn't super on my priorities, but I'm sure I'll get to it at some point, and I'm intrigued to read it. So that is The Pieces of You and Me. The next book I have is from my friend Rosie at work, and that is The Diary of a Bookseller by Sean Bithell. This cover is amazing. I love it. Like, I love the like jumbled like mismatches, bits and bobs of the bookshop. Amazing. I love it. It's cool. It's cool. Could watch it. Could look at it forever. This looks like my cat, which is just like, this one sounds really cool. It's kind of in like a diary format of like different days in a bookshop, and just like funny customer service stories. Like, I worked in customer service before I worked in an office, and like the absolute shit that customers come out with thinking that like that's a valid question, or like just the way people act is just so bizarre. I feel like I'm going to be able to relate to some bizarre stories in here. But also bookshop, I love that it's like customer service. I've always been intrigued to like work in a bookshop, but I never have, and I think this is going to just like really please my heart. Yeah, buzzing to get to that one. Oh, we got 2 left. The next one is from my friend Ella at work. So Ella has lent me The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. This is another one of those like, I don't really read classics, but people have said really good things about this. It says here, Tales of Mystery and the Supernatural, and it was like written in the 1800s, so I feel like with regards to the depiction of women, maybe things need to be taken with a pinch of salt. I don't know. I haven't read it, but that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. But it's about this guy called Walter Hartwright, and he encounters like a lone, terrified woman who's dressed in white in the middle of London, and he feels impelled to solve the mystery of why she is like distressed. That's kind of all I know, but again, it's a similar situation where I've heard that it's really not a chore to read this book. It's actually really easy to read and really like intriguing and creepy vibes, very Halloween-y again. Yeah, I am kind of excited to read this. And also I don't read a lot of classics, so it is really interesting when I do. Medium priorities, I think. Not like super high, but like kind of high, because I kind of want to read it for Halloween. Yeah. Okay, the last book. I'm so embarrassed about this. The last book I have that I've borrowed from someone is from my friend Nikki, who I think she lent me this book in our 3rd year. She lent me this book in my 3rd year of university, and it's been a while. I think she lent me it in 3rd year. I think it was 3rd year. I fucking hope it wasn't 2nd year. It's been, when did I graduate? Like 2 years ago? Yep. I'm really sorry. The book that she lent me is About a Boy by Nick Hornby. I think we must have been talking about the film, you know, with Hugh Grant and Nicholas Hoult, which I watched like quite a lot when I was younger, and I think we were just talking about that, and she was like, oh, actually the book's really good, I'll bring it for you and you can borrow it and read it. And I was like, oh, thanks so much, Nikki, that's so nice. 2 years later, why the hell haven't I read this book? It's not even that long, like, it's like 250 pages. I need to read this. Like, it's actually super embarrassing that I haven't read this. Nikki, I'm like hiding my face. I'm really sorry that I still own this book. I also hope that you haven't forgotten, or do I kind of wish that you have forgotten and this is a surprise? I don't know. Either way, I'm really sorry. I'm going to get to it as soon as possible. High priority because of embarrassment, but also intriguing. Like, I like the story of About a Boy. Although, will I like it as much now? Because it's very like male-centric about this like middle-aged man. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I guess we'll see. And that is my stack of books that I've borrowed from people that I haven't read yet. Literally yikes is all I can say. Like, I don't know what to say because there's so many books there. Like, why have I not read them? Like, any of them? Why did I just keep willingly being like, oh, can I borrow it? Can I borrow that? Can I borrow that? And then just reading new books. I'm trash. Get me in the bin. Have you got any books that you've borrowed from other people at the moment? Do let me know. It's always very intriguing to hear. Also, do you like lending your books out? I don't know if I have like a controversial opinion on this. I don't think I do, but like, lend your books out, guys. It's like the best feeling ever. Also, if you're like scared about how people are going to treat your books, just say that, you know, you don't like people dog-earing. I don't think people would dog-ear pages that aren't their books anyway, unless you have like trash friends. I don't know, I dog-ear shit all the time, but I would never dog-ear someone else's book. Maybe that's just because I'm a Hufflepuff and I'm too scared. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Do give it a thumbs up. I feel like quite embarrassed to say this, but yeah, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I have a little goal to get to 100 subscribers before the end of the year, so I would love it if you enjoy my videos and would like to subscribe. Okay, thanks, bye. How embarrassing. I will see you in my next video. Bye.